Before we begin, I'd like to thank all the listeners for tuning into issue 12 of this podcast. We've been hard at work with this one all week and are proud to present our thoughts on DC's FanDome event. Now, this issue's runtime is a little bit longer than usual, so if you'd like to only listen to our thoughts on the Batman reveal, please skip over to about the hour mark portion of this issue. For those listening to the issue on YouTube, a timestamp will be posted in the description below. We highly encourage you to listen to the whole thing and greatly appreciate any and all support with subscriptions and follows on our streaming accounts and socials. Once again, thank you guys, and enjoy the issue.
The Hall of Nerdom has fallen. With nowhere to record, our heroes fly to the Fortress of Geekitude to record the massive amount of news released from DC FanDome. Joined by Brian's faithful but annoying companion, Bootleg Crypto, Joey the dog, our heroes gather what they can and begin recording. As their faithful motto states, Whittier's #1 podcast for all things nerdy does not stop. It will not rest, and it will not let the forces of evil prevail in delivering the news the people deserve to know.
It picked up by the way. All right. We're recording at the Fortress of Geekitude. Which means one thing.
What's that?
I'm not going to ask if we're recording. I know we're recording because this is my superhero base. It's not the shared one.
Nope.
This is the Fortress of Geekitude.
Yes.
Joey the dog, locked behind doors because he's still the crypto in training.
Yeah, I met him.
So does this basically mean that you're the Batman to this group and I'm the Superman to this group?
If it is, I love that.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But that means that you've got to be the logical one and that you have to basically have a contingency plan in case I go berserk. Which I kind of do.
Okay.
I kind of do here and there occasionally. You see me kind of just go like mad about stuff and whatnot.
Just kind of sulk.
All right. So, yes, we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
I planned this. I know when we're recording.
I just dropped something. Sorry.
And you're breaking the Fortress of Geekitude.
Breaking the Fortress.
While you pick that up, I'm going to be right back, Rene, because there is a surprise. What do we always have when we record?
Ooh.
We can't go further until
this. This is what fuels the podcast.
Sir, I present to you...
Ooh, you got the... Wait, what is this?
I don't know.
Radical Scatical? So I thought it was the unicorn one.
That's what I thought too. I legitimately was like, why is this pink and blue? It's called Radical Scatical.
Radical Scatical.
I'm telling you, there's people that get sponsored by G Fuel, and I have G Fuel. I buy G Fuel.
Yeah, you do.
But Bang is like the one thing that wakes us up.
Hold on, mate. You gotta do the... That was crisp. There you go.
Mine was delayed.
Right.
Why are we giving them free... Cheers, my man. Why are we giving them free advertising, man?
I don't know. I think we're just hoping.
They're going to be the first ones to basically sponsor it. This one, just watch. All right, so we've got a long episode ahead of us. So there's no messing around here, buddy. We have to start recording and talking about what we usually talk about,
man.
Which is all the nerdy stuff that has existed.
But this week
was heavy, man.
This week, man.
Okay, so do we go with the intro? Should we start it now?
Start it now.
All right, so you got last week, I got this week. Let's get this going.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour, coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Aiming to be Whittier's #1 podcast for all things nerdy. I'm your host, Brian.
Renee.
And we did say in the intro that we will be recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Undercity Comics. Unfortunately, that is not the case in this episode. We are recording at the Fortress of Geekitude, location unknown.
How's that?
That was good.
All right. I kind of improv the last part.
I loved your tone. That was awesome. That was
Oh, man. After 12 issues, you'd think that I would have the hang of this. So thankfully. All right. So like I said, we have a lot of stuff to do. Renee, as your producer, I'm going to try to keep this on track.
Yes, because I will go ham.
I
will just go nuts.
There is a note at the bottom of yellow, and you noticed it.
Yeah.
You noticed it. So for our listeners, we're going to be talking about the DC FanDome, which was the event that premiered August
August
22nd.
22nd.
August 22nd at 10 a.m. Excuse me.
It was 10 a.m.
And all the way over to recording today at 10 a.m. is which when it ended on August 23rd. So this podcast will be coming out, yes, on Wednesday, which is when you're listening to this, hopefully. But we're going to have all our thoughts on it pretty much discussed here. There was a video, if you're listening to this on the Spotify or, on YouTube, whatever it is, if you jump over to our YouTube channel, a video was released on Monday where we kind of talked about the smaller pieces of the DC FanDome event, mainly the stuff that we couldn't fit into this podcast because this podcast, there might be a possibility that we're looking at about an hour and 15, hour and a half worth of content.
We're going to try and give our thoughts about it, but then at the same time, we're going to try and, limit it as much as we can.
There's no promises.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no promises, especially with the amount of content that was released on here. So, yes. Also, if the audio is a little bit weird, like we said before, we are recording at the Fortress of Geekitude.
The audio setup here is good, man.
It's called the magic of editing.
Magic of editing. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But you do a good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Again,
I try.
Credit goes to Brian, guys. He does all the editing. I'm just, the person that just gives the content.
You're the head. You're the Batman. We already established this. You're the Batman,
I'm the Batman
of this. You've got the contingency plan for when I go crazy.
That's true.
All right, so we're going to jump straight into this. This is all the DC FanDome stuff. There are videos that will be released on Thursday, Friday. I know that on the Monday video, we said that it was going to be Tuesday, but we won't be doing that just so that way we can release things, consistently and have it there. We do usually release videos on Friday. So it'll be Monday video, Wednesday podcast, Thursday, Friday videos. And those are going to be solo videos on our personal thoughts. So it won't be the both of us talking. It'll just be one of us on the chair at the Fortress of Geekitude giving our own explanations and, likes and dislikes of the event. Yeah,
because some of us, some people want to know what our only thoughts are, know. And so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put out like you said, the solo videos of our personal thoughts.
Exactly. So if you're listening to this on the Spotify, excuse me. I don't know why I can't say just Spotify.
Just Spotify.
If you're listening to this on Spotify or Podbean, jump to the YouTube channel and watch those videos. They are our own personal thoughts on it. And if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. Within 2 weeks, we've earned like 7 subscribers on that. And I know at 21, it's not much. Again, we'll say it's not much, but still, thank you guys.
Yeah.
We are getting traction, which is good, and we appreciate it. We want to put Whittier on the map as our home base for this stuff. And we're trying to work our hardest. This week will show how much we care about this, hopefully. So with that said, let us knock right into this topic. We are going to talk about DC FanDome. As your producer, Rene, I have planned out this entire podcast outline.
I thank you for that. Because it would just been like one word. Like,
one word for everything. You're like,
this, we're talking about that, and that. That's it.
So I've tried to organize this as much as possible, as best as I can. So I know, because there was a lot. We're going to try to go through everything that was announced.
Again, this is a lot of stuff that we're talking about, and we're going to try and cram it all in, guys.
Exactly. So we're going to go from the smaller bits and pieces, the smaller trailers and panels and news that were released, kind of stuff that can't expand much on.
Yeah.
That'll be the first part, and we're going to aim that to be about maybe 10, 15 minutes. We don't know. Then the bigger announcements, and then the two big ones, in our opinion, that deserve the spotlight. And we already know what one of them is. There is no doubt about what it is. There's no doubt about which one it is. So we're going to jump straight into the small stuff. And I'm going to just kind of quickly breeze through these topics. If there's something you want to expand on, Rene, just kind of like let us just
I'll just say, I want to expand on
it. I want to talk about this.
Hold on, Brian.
Okay. All right. So smaller panels and news and trailers that were released during DC FanDome. This includes stuff like Wonder Woman 1984, which we got our first look at Cheetah.
Yeah, so this one was actually pretty interesting because I said on the a previous episode about what to see for this whole DC fandom. I said, they shouldn't really do another trailer, but this trailer was actually pretty good. Like I said, it got me into it more because we get to see Cheetah or Kristen Wiig, see her be more kind of
we get to see her Cheetah.
Yeah, we get to see Cheetah.
Yeah.
But then also before that they show her intent, not her intentions, but her feeling towards Diana.
Yeah.
That she's Diana's kind of lived in like a privileged kind of life and high end and stuff, while Kristen Wiig's character has always been on like the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like that, and I really enjoyed I didn't get to see a detailed look of Cheetah, but overall,
we got enough of a detail because
Yeah.
it was like nighttime shots, which is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, fine. Don't reveal her because
for
we want to watch.
CGI, it makes sense.
Yeah. Especially with the movie supposedly, it was supposed to come out earlier.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out
And
in
because
July,
of this whole
I think,
pandemic,
yeah.
we had to get pushed back.
Mhm.
I believe in one of the issues before we said that we were tired of seeing all these like trailers coming out about Wonder Woman
Mhm.
and that we don't want to see another one.
Yeah.
They released it, and your response was, "Yeah, I'm kind of happy they
I'm
did
kinda
release
happy.
it."
Because they were holding back on Cheetah the whole entire time, and I think that was the reason why I liked it, was because they were like, you know what, let's just reveal her and just I think the whole time they didn't want to reveal her, but because of the pandemic and stuff, they're like, you know what, let's give the fans just a little bit more, because they can't just give us a trailer without Cheetah in it now.
Exactly.
At this point,
Yeah.
And one thing that does still concern me is Stephen Trevor's character, is how he came back to life. Because again, he died in the first movie, and bringing him back in this movie kind of shows that if he is a back, it made his death not very meaningless in the first one. Like,
Only time will tell at this point to see.
Yeah.
Because if that's still your question, that means that the trailers haven't revealed everything.
that's the thing.
Which is good. That's
Mhm.
exactly what it should do.
Mhm.
Like, unless you say it's just kind of like tacked on there.
Yeah.
One final point that I want to say: Kristen Wiig. Holy crap, man!
Yeah, she's doing I didn't think she would be a good very
Serious
kind of
actor.
like serious
Serious actress,
villain
excuse me.
also too.
Yeah,
And I'm for it. I'm for her as Cheetah.
I grew up with Kristen Wiig on SNL, so I've only known her as a comedian.
Well, no, I mean, she does do some serious work. She did a movie with Bill Hader, her cast member from SNL,
Mhm.
called The Skeleton Twins.
Yes, yeah, I heard of her.
And I hear that's a really good movie. I haven't watched it yet, but I hear good reviews about it. But seeing this trailer and seeing her playing kind of mischievous, or having a little dark side to her, pretty good.
What's the actor that plays in Parks? Have you seen Parks and Recreation?
Yeah.
Okay, the annoying sibling from the dentist. I forget his name. The one that
Oh.
always sings like this.
Aziz Ansari?
No, that's what's his name? He also voiced Sonic in the new movie.
Oh, his name's Ben. It's Ben.
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz.
I love
I didn't even have
him.
to look that up. Okay,
I
Ben Schwartz.
love Ben
But
Schwartz.
you know how like Ben Schwartz has already that image of the annoying person, so no matter what role he plays, you kind of already have that image of that character from.
He's kind of, he does the same character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with Sonic, you got a different persona of Ben Schwartz. Like you got a
Mhm.
different way of looking at him.
Yeah.
That's what I saw with Kristen Wiig here. Like I
Mhm.
get to
I
get
see what you
the
mean,
opportunity
yeah.
to see a different version
Mhm.
of Kristen Wiig, which I can appreciate. I actually
yeah.
really, really love that, and I can't wait to see her as Cheetah. I think I'm more excited to see her act there
Yeah.
over the movie, which is kind of weird, but sure. I just want to see Kristen Wiig and see how she'll portray Cheetah.
And we get, so also for one little thing, Pedro Pascal. He's in the movie.
Oh, he is?
He's a villain in it. Yeah, he's the politician dude, remember? Pedro Pascal. Mando. He's
a man of many talents.
Oh yeah. So I'm really excited to see what kind, because he's actually a comic book villain as well too.
The thing is
So-
about Pedro Pascal is that everyone will always tell me, yeah, he's in this movie. And I'm like, what?
Keep
Because he was
forgetting,
in The Golden Circle
Yes.
as Whiskey.
Whiskey, great.
But
Loved
you
him.
can't tell him. There was no really distinctive
Mhm.
feature of him that made it obvious that it was Pedro Pascal.
Oh no, yeah.
And then
he always does a great job of just kind of like doing the character and just showing you the character.
yeah, and
Okay.
then Mandalorian, no mask,
Oh,
perfect
yes,
actor
yeah.
as well on that one.
He's also in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know what? Like I think we've expanded it enough. But Kristen Wiig for me is the personal favorite thing
Yes.
to see of
All
Wonder
right.
Woman. Titan season 3 teased. They pretty much teased Red Hood.
Which is interesting because Jason Todd was in the character aspect. He was already kind of like a young kid. So to have him be Red Hood in season 3, that's interesting.
You know
Yeah.
what? They're bringing in more characters like this,
Mhm.
which is really good. I haven't seen any of Titans, and I've been wanting to. Once
See-
it transitions over to HBO
Yeah.
Max, that's when
I
I'm
haven't watched Titans either, but I've watched maybe I have, but I haven't. I haven't finished season 1. I got to the first 3 episodes.
Mhm.
They were really great, but I never got around to it, and I just kind of canceled my DC Universe subscription. So when it comes to HBO Max, I will binge it.
Barbara Gordon is now going to not dismiss, but kind of transition out of Batgirl into a commissioner role.
Ooh.
And then Scarecrow
yeah.
is also teased in this one as well.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
I like how they're doing it. I mean, it's catering to me more because I'm a Batman fan. So
Yeah.
it's like I love to see more Batman characters.
Yeah,
Batman characters come to life.
Before we move on, I have to address an issue because friend of the show, Rebel, was kind of mad at the comment that we made about DC Universe being dissolved and going into HBO Max.
Oh, I bet.
One of his comments, and I understood his point, but I try to defend our point as well. Oh my God! Why are you breaking the Fortress of Geekitude?
Like, this thing gets stuck, so I'm not gonna do it.
You can put it on the mat. It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, you can put it on there. It's fine. Just it's fine.
Okay.
So his comment was pretty much that, and hopefully I'm not butchering it, but I already told him that if he has any concerns with this podcast, to put it in the comment sections or on any of our socials, so that way other people can see it and he's not privately messaging me, because somehow I became the producer and the HR rep for this.
That's funny.
This thing, and I'm just like, I didn't hire to do any of this, but okay. Yeah. Only the producer part. But he was kind of mad, and he pretty much said, it's people like you who pretty much said, I was thinking about it but never did subscribe to it. It's that's the reason why.
Oh, I see what
Universe,
okay. Yeah, kind of rude, but it's still
he's right, but also he's right as a fan to be that mad about it.
Yeah, I get it.
But at the same time, it's like it goes back to this consumer friendly aspect of like, why am I going to spend money on a single branded piece of content that only streams one brand when I can subscribe for twice the amount of money to a streaming service that does a lot more.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, listen, like, I know that companies are trying to do streaming services, and it's cool to see that companies are doing their own thing. But the thing is, though, is that I subscribe to like like 4 different other streaming services that it's more easier if they would go on Netflix or go on Hulu or HBO Max, because that's actually a streaming service I am going to get in the future. I'm just kind of like holding off on it right now.
They'll probably do a deal with when they dissolve DC Universe and then implement some stuff.
So I did try getting DC Universe, but the thing is that it's one of those things where it's like it's not essential right now because I'm paying for all the other stuff.
But you're part of the reason why it's being dissolved, Renee.
Okay, if you can give me $7.99 a month, then I'll definitely would have gotten it.
I think Rebel said that it was going to be a comic book centric service, which is perfectly fine.
That's fine.
I think that if it becomes like a digital platform to read the comic books and backlog all those things, perfectly fine.
You get access to all those new comic books that are probably coming out and all original stuff that's coming out as well too. Yeah.
Perfectly fine. I mean, they said that we'll talk about this later, but with potential Static Shock back catalog, maybe they might implement it on there, which is good, and I might just get it for a month or something and
try
do it
out,
there.
Yeah.
But if Titans, Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, all those shows jump from the DC universe.
And future DC shows as well too.
Young Justice.
Yeah.
All those jump into the HBO Max. Great. Like, that I'm going to be on top of those things like damn quick. So Titans was teased. Flash season 7 trailer.
I saw that.
Surprised that it's at all really at season 7. I think Arrow has gone a little bit further.
So before we recorded, I actually was like, okay, I gotta watch the season 7 trailer. I stopped watching though after season maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I watched season 7 trailer. Very underwhelming. It's
gotten to the point where it's become, I feel like these shows, if you watch it, by all means go for it. There's nothing wrong with you doing this.
Yeah.
Because to me it's interesting that, because I have family members that watch the Arrowverse stuff and they're really interested in it. And I like it because it encourages them to essentially know more about the stuff that we're interested in. Yeah. And it's good. It's a good entry point, It's fine, but it does kind of feel a little bit tacky at this point.
It's just, for me as a Flash fan as well too, I'm also a Flash fan, it's just the series it started out good, but I didn't really like the whole Team Flash aspect of it.
That was the annoying part.
Yeah, because they were essentially you're mirroring Arrow, where it's like Team Arrow, it's like
Flash,
Team Flash, and it's just like, these superheroes don't really have people like this in the
they
comic
kind of
books.
work on their own.
Yeah, Flash has always been a character that always works on his own, and Iris is always a big part of his life, obviously, and stuff like that. But I get it as a they're trying to include these like other DC characters into it, but at the same time they don't need to be like team, like, I don't know.
I will say that this version of Flash is a pretty good one.
No,
it's what's his name? This Flash is It's not Wally West. It's
Oh, it's Barry Allen.
Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's
No,
a good version of Barry Allen.
The show itself did a great job of how to show Barry Allen and how
and they brought Wally West at one point.
they did, and he got thrown out or something. Like he's on the back burner.
But look, I'll say this: that the Flash show did a good job. At least I'm a big like Flash fan, and when they announced it that they were going to bring it into the Arrowverse, I was immediately on top of it, and I watched the first like 2 or 3 seasons like back to back.
They were good. First two seasons were good.
They were good, and I liked it, and I did like this Barry Allen version. It was a young Barry Allen, naive, trying to learn about his powers and adapt into it. It was a good for a TV show. But I mean, you said it. It was a kind of underwhelming trailer. Whatever.
Yeah.
If you're into it, great.
Yeah,
it's there. If not,
personally, I'm just not. I'm like,
yeah. I'm on that same boat.
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman sequel teased for a 2022 release.
Cool.
There's no name. Shazam 2 teased for November 4th, 2022. So that means that we're going to wait another 2 years for these movies.
Yeah.
By all means, go for it. Take your time, because there are rumors that are kind of hinting at DC jumping straight into a multiverse aspect of this and already adapting into it.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that and accept that all these movies exist in different universes, great. Because as fans of DC, we know about this already. That there's multiple universes and multiple iterations of different characters that exist everywhere. Right? They're going to jump into us and adapt into it. Take your time in making these movies and make them good.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Definitely.
Shazam's 2 title revealed to be Shazam, Fury of Gods. Yeah, but nothing else was really teased about that.
I wonder if this is going to come out before or after Black Adam. So that's why I'm kind of interested in
Black
that
Adam,
title.
I think it's 2021.
2021? So this
But you're talking about the...
Like, timeline-wise, like, if Black Adam comes out 2021, then that means this Shazam movie will finally feature both Black Adam and Shazam in it, which is... Really
Black
cool.
Adam is December 22nd, 2021. So
yeah.
Okay,
cool.
so we might have a clash of Black Adam and
I think that's what says Fury of the Gods. That's why I think it's called Fury of the Gods. We're finally gonna have
Zachary Levi versus Dwayne The Rock Johnson,
which doesn't really sound like a good fight when you think about it.
No, because Zachary Levi is a nerd.
Yes.
And what do nerds like to watch? Wrestling. You said it in one of the issues. Nerd versus wrestler. We're gonna get this.
Nerd versus wrestler. Got it.
You didn't think about it now until I said it. And then more smaller things came out from the convention, quote unquote. There were a lot of different panels that included various art pieces from fans, which is pretty cool because I think Jim Lee was talking to one of the fans.
Yeah.
And kind of like showing him how like different improvements that he can do on his art. I was like, that's kind of cool, dude. Like to get advice from the guy of DC, like that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
There was a short little movie with Batman Beyond and Batman 66 Adam West.
That was actually pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I kind of got really excited that I thought it was a Batman Beyond
of course
thing. But I enjoyed it. I really like seeing Adam West Batman, that quirky stuff. My dad used to show me that as a kid. So it's like, how can you not love Adam West?
Dude,
and that Batmobile, man.
I love that Batmobile, honestly.
It's a cool thing, man. Like, honestly, like, it was really fun.
Yeah.
They also talked about the Batwoman show.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, because was it, what's her name? Is the head, the main character? What's her name? Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose, yeah.
Has left, and they casted a new Batwoman. But it's a new character playing Batwoman.
Yes.
Which I'm happy about.
They talked about it in the panel shortly. I was kind of paying attention to it. I was writing the outline, but they were saying that pretty much they're not going to replace Ruby Rose's character.
Yeah.
They're just going to integrate this new one, which is good because it basically means that the story goes on without any interruptions.
Yeah, and then if anything, Ruby Rose could come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this just goes to show the dedication that they're putting into this Batwoman series,
Good.
which is good because we really want to see this stuff like that happen.
Yeah.
So, yes. And then a smaller portion, we really didn't want to include this into a bigger announcement because there wasn't much that was revealed other than a small cinematic trailer. The Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady, the same guys that made the Arkham Knight series.
Yes.
They're releasing their game coming out 2022.
Yeah.
And this 5-minute cinematic trailer featured Captain Boomerang. Was it Deadshot?
Deadshot.
King Shark, and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Before because I know you have some thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Short little synopsis. It'll take place in Metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to revolve around killing the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the last scenes, if you haven't seen it, go find it. It's a pretty interesting trailer, pretty fun because they're just kind of having fun with it.
Yeah.
But the last part of it is Superman basically disintegrating a helicopter pilot that he saved. And you can tell that he has glowing purple eyes.
Yeah.
Which means he's like...
I think he's under Brainiac's control.
So it is Brainiac.
It's Brain. Oh, yeah. That was Brainiac. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't know if it's Brainiac.
Oh, it's Brainiac.
Brainiac is one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
Like, my God, that
Mhm.
guy was... That villain is, like, probably one of the most complicated villains in, like, the animated series and in beyond.
Oh, yeah.
He was freaky. So the fact that he's in there, good. Like I said, developed by Rocksteady, and it's going to have some sort of connection to the Arkham universe, which is interesting because, you know, the Arkham universe was in Arkham, and now you're in Metropolis,
so
and it's killed the Justice League. So are we killing the Batman?
I don't know. So,
but I haven't played the last one yet, so I don't know because I've heard that he dies in the last one, but I'm not so sure.
Well, okay, yeah, that's the thing. They did in the Arkham Knight. They kind of just like they do kill him off, but then they kind of do like a whole thing where it's like
they Nolan'd him.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this game looks interesting because it takes the aspect of the Suicide Squad where where it's always been where it's like they're always doing like secret, you know, underground missions while this whole invasion is happening. They have their own little agenda. Or Amanda Waller has a agenda for the Task Force X. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see what's that going to be. I really liked the character designs. They look fun. The game looks fun. It doesn't look like it's taking itself seriously.
It's fun.
Yeah, and I think and I think I'm ready for that type of game for DC as well.
Yeah, that fun is the key word for
me.
And I felt like the Arkham Knight series took itself really seriously.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. I really want to jump into that series, and I'm waiting for a sale to happen to get all three.
Oh yeah.
Have you played them?
I played them all. Yeah.
Oh, you've played them all.
I played them
so
all,
you know the experience of it. Okay, good. I want to get into it. I'm waiting for a sale, but I've always thought of him to be very serious. Is that wrong of me to say or no?
No, that's completely true because the story was always, you know, there was always never a light tone about it. Obviously, you know, it's a video game, so like they kind of like do like their own little thing about it. But at the same time, you know, Arkham City, if anything, was the start of like the real grim tone of it.
Okay.
And then Arkham Knight was basically, okay, we have this tone, let's wrap it up. Let's do it, you know.
And Rocksteady is a good dev company, so you know it'll be interesting. So that takes care of the smaller portions of pretty much this entire convention. Let's jump into the bigger announcements. So this is where we'll discuss a little bit more. I know we're at 30 minutes in. I told you guys this is a long podcast with a lot of content. We're not going to barrel through this if we, you know, find something interesting because we really want to talk about all the topics on here. Gotham Knights by Warner Brothers Montreal with a 7-minute reveal gameplay trailer. It'll feature Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hood. The gameplay showcase, they fight with Mr. Freeze at the end. The big baddies of this whole game is the Court of Owls.
Yes.
And it is going to revolve around a story where Batman is dead, and he gives the Bat family a video that tells them, hey, with me dead, you're going to have villains that now feel like they can take over. It is up to you guys to come in and defend while I am away.
So let's just get this out of the way right now. This is not attached to the Batman Arkham games.
It is the one that is most similarly compared to it.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Rocksteady did the Arkham Knight game and they're doing the Suicide Squad game. But it has no, like, they barely referenced any connection to it. Even though the dev said there will be some sort of connection, right? Now, this Warner Brothers Montreal one, I think it's because it has that Batman name to it.
Of course.
That it has that relation, but it's not connected at all.
No, it's not connected because I was looking at it and it has similarities, but it's not connected at all because, you know, the way that they said in the trailer that Batman died, but then also Jim Gordon died too because he was alive at the end of Arkham Knight and stuff like that. And then also Barbara Gordon was Oracle during that whole series of the games. She was already Batgirl. In Arkham Knight. And, in both Arkham City, because she was featured in Arkham City and Arkham Knight, where she was Oracle. She was already Batgirl, but she was Oracle at that time.
And who was revealed to be the Arkham Knight? I know that's a big spoiler. If you guys have not played the Arkham series, if you guys don't want to listen to it, jump maybe 10 seconds ahead from this point. Now, who's the Arkham Knight?
Jason Todd.
Okay. Red Hood.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so now that you guys are back and you skip 10 seconds and you guys don't know the identity of the Red Hood, or yeah, dang it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so with that kind of reveal,
Yeah.
Who's playing each of these characters, because when they didn't necessarily announce who each one was. We know that Batgirl is Barbara Gordon.
Batgirl's Barbara Gordon, Nightwing's Dick Grayson, and Red Hood is Jason Todd. Now the one that's getting, kind of like who it is Robin. This one does look like it could be Damian Wayne.
I kind of have a feeling that it is Damian Wayne because he's the biggest. He's the current Robin.
He's the fan favorite, apparently. Like,
it's kind of weird because you talk to a lot of people and they say that they don't like Damian Wayne as Robin now.
Yeah, so this is how it is. Within Batman fans and DC and comic book fans, he is not the favorite Robin. But within like Robin, I guess Robin fans, Robin fans actually do like Damian. And I've noticed that. And but me personally, as a Batman fan, I don't like Damian, but I respect Damian.
Okay,
he is actually an interesting character. He's his aspects are very cool. He has all these cool little things about him and stuff. He is a different type of Robin, but not my favorite Robin. Nevertheless, but I hope it's Tim Drake, because every single medium, or even in the comic book world, they kind of throw him under the bus. Tim Drake. Because
wasn't he a short-term Robin?
He was not really. He was. If anything, he was Robin right after Jason Todd. So, from Jason Todd, which was after he died, in like I want to say like late 80s in the comic books, and then like during that time, Tim Drake is actually the first Robin to get his own comic book during that time.
Yeah, I remember.
Was the first Robin to get a comic book, and that was Tim Drake.
Okay.
And then was it Damian Wayne didn't come into play until like, was it 2010? Yeah. So he's been Robin for quite some time.
Okay. I tried looking it up to see who each one was.
Yeah.
But none of the outlets told me.
I don't think they're gonna.
And I didn't want to go into the panels to try to figure it out. So if they announced it in the panels and we didn't pay attention, we apologize.
Yeah. If you guys know, comment down below or let us know.
Yeah. Don't be mad at us.
Yeah.
Rebel. Don't be mad, please.
It's blah blah blah.
Friend of the show.
In all caps. I'm gonna watch. We're gonna see that.
But if we don't know who plays this Robin, you want Tim Drake.
I want Tim Drake because he is actually a good Robin. I don't see him a lot.
Okay.
But I have a feeling this is going to be Damian.
I will. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on that same boat.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that I want Tim Drake. It only makes sense because you have Dick Grayson, Jason Todd. The next person to succeed would be Tim Drake as Robin.
Yeah.
Right?
And plus,
what did Tim Drake become after Robin?
Red Robin.
Red Robin, right?
But then for some reason, in the DC universe, they kind of like. Now, after like, was it the New 52? After the New 52 came out, they kind of like got rid of Red Robin, which he's such. But
it would be a good idea to include Red Robin, and you think about it. Like, think about it. If you're talking about the Bat family, you want to include Red Robin in there, especially like you don't want to say Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and then Robin. If you're skipping Tim Drake, then it wouldn't make sense to not even mention Red Robin.
Yeah.
So I kind of get the feeling that this is what I think. We want Tim Drake. Yeah. I think that
it makes sense as of like a story aspect.
Yes, but I think that Warner Brothers Montreal will put Damian Wayne because of his relevancy.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much where I see it going.
Yeah, that's true.
Excuse me. So Snyder Cut, the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer was also showcased with a proper trailer this time around, which was teased at the Comic-Con DC Justice League, whatever you want to call it, portion of that part.
Yeah.
So we finally get to see the trailer.
Which was interesting. I was expecting a different type of trailer.
I haven't seen the Justice League movie. So I'm basing it all on trailers. You've seen the Justice League movie.
I've seen the Justice League
So I am going to let you take control of this, but let me go through pretty much the synopsis of what's going on over here. It is revealed that the cost to produce this is $30 million and will premiere on HBO Max as 4 1-hour long segments that when combined will be a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
It's not, I think what they said is that you can watch it as 4 segments or as a 4-hour movie. No reshoots with the original cast. It will all be existing footage.
Yeah.
It's just going to be Snyder's version of the edits. And HBO is working on methods of distribution worldwide.
Yeah.
This is big news.
This is really interesting.
Because now they're not looking at it as just like, yeah, if you guys want to watch it on a streaming service, go for it. They want to make this into a big movie.
Yeah, and I think hopefully it comes out as a Blu-ray as well too.
You know what? They more likely will, because look at what they did with Stranger Things, Netflix.
Oh, that's true.
They release it they release stuff outside of the streaming service, so it only makes sense that they'll do it.
Yeah.
But the trailer, you said that it just kind of looked like it wasn't something that you pretty much.
It wasn't what I was expecting them to do with the whole Song of Hallelujah playing and then just slow motion. I don't know. I mean, I guess Snyder had an idea of what to show. Basically, his thoughts of from the because I remember before everything with the reshoots and everything, they released the Comic-Con trailer, and that showed certain footage of Cyborg, Aquaman, even Batman, and somewhat teased Superman as well too. And for some reason, when they did the reshoots, they completely canceled all that or redid all that. And in this one, it's no, Snyder's okay, no. Remember, you saw this. We're going to do more of that. You saw this in the trailer. There's more of that going on and stuff. And they showed Darkseid, which was cool. I was talking about it with, again, friend of the show, Rebel. And we're hoping that, the look of Darkseid looked cool, but then we really look at his face. It's a little weird.
It's a movie version of the villain.
It's the movie, yeah.
It's the easiest way that I compare it to make it sense for it to make sense to me is the Vulture in Homecoming.
Oh yeah.
You didn't think the Vulture would look the way he did, because you see him in the comic books and it's he's got the spandex green with the white fluff around his neck, but all we saw him in Homecoming was a leather jacket with tight pants and the mechanical wings. I think that this is a different look. This is Snyder's version of the look of Darkseid. Yeah. By all means, go for it. There's a reason as to why. You don't know until the director pretty much explains why he went forward with that design. Yeah. I would say that, and I said this in one of the Facebook posts, it's not fair to judge what we saw now until we see the actual cut itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because the movie has been bagged on constantly since its release in 2018 or 2017?
2018, I think. Or maybe it was 2017. But overall, it does look good. It looks like they're expanding on all the characters, not just one particular and stuff like that. 2017. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Dang. It looks like they're expanding on Flash. They're expanding more on Batman and stuff like that. And then they're showing more of the different version of how Superman was resurrected and stuff like that.
Oh, the famous panel or the cover for Batman's death, the death of Superman. Yeah, it was on there. Yeah, was that in the original movie as well?
Yeah, it was kind of, and then they shot it differently apparently.
Okay, I like the stick with the white thing. Yeah. I know that that was his cape in the original cover, right? Yeah, but I liked it because it referenced the death of Superman. Yeah, and it's okay, cool. I noticed that.
So in this one, he's wearing the black suit. So that was so that's really cool that they're gonna still go with that, and. Obviously, he's not going to have a digital face to cover up his mustache.
Are they going with a mustache on this one?
No, because I think what they're doing is that they're using the footage before the reshoots.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because when Snyder left, they had to do reshoots because Josh Whedon had a different idea how to do the whole, when he comes back to life and stuff like that.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
they're using the original footage. Opposed to the reshoot footage and stuff.
I still got another year to but I got a couple months to watch it. I've been planning to. So okay, so we good with the Snyder cut?
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. I mean, overall, I'm really intrigued of how different it's going to be.
Perfect. Okay. Other pieces of news: Milestone Comics revival, Static Shock Comics, and potential movie. This was kind of a curveball of an announcement, because they just merely mentioned we're interested in reviving Milestone Comics, which we will. And the news that kind of came out of this was that the classic issues of Static Shock will be coming out digitally September 2020, with new digital comics coming 2021, followed by an original graphic novel. I personally like this because I grew up on the Static Shock cartoons, not
Yeah.
the comics. I know that the comics came first and then the cartoons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But
Yeah.
the cartoon, I fell in love with it. That was
Oh,
my
yeah. No, me
that was
too.
my cartoon
Oh,
as a
the
kid.
cartoon was amazing.
It was good. And if you have not seen the cartoon, I highly recommend it. For its time, it is probably one of the most interesting and very home-hitting pieces of media that you could probably watch.
Yeah, that series wasn't afraid to get real.
No, and it did it really
Yeah,
well.
they did they
Yeah.
tackled on racism really good. Also, like,
They even tackled like the economic state of the
yeah,
family.
I was
which
just
is-
gonna say
yeah.
that. Yeah, like how growing up, you weren't really wealthy and stuff, and
Mhm.
growing up in the projects and stuff like that. Also dealing with gangs
Mhm.
and stuff. They did a great job. They also did school shootings. They also handled
Yeah,
that.
I
They
remember.
handled bullying really well and stuff. They handled even like if you grew up in a gang and how your family members are and stuff like that. It was ahead of its time. They did a great job.
I have high hopes for this because I really want to see how they'll tackle this going forward, especially with the things that are currently going on now.
yeah.
So it would be really interesting for Static Shock to be the center of all that
Yeah.
and properly
They
discuss this
should.
in a good media.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, Static Shock for its time as kids, we consumed this
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't even think twice about it as kids. We just watched it and kind of grew up with it.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting and I think that it did it really well.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there are talks of a potential rumor or a potential movie, excuse me. So this was kind of teased from what I understood. Most other sources like IGN and comicbook.com were saying that they're in talks of it.
Mhm.
Even Rotten Tomatoes was saying like they're in talks.
Hmm.
So this isn't a confirmation yet, but they're leaning towards having a movie more than likely, which is good. I really, really, really want a Static Shock
Yeah, no,
movie.
same
I
here.
want them to bring Static Shock back.
That'd be awesome.
This is good news. This is fantastic
Yeah.
news in my opinion.
Mhm.
Like I'm really excited for this.
This could be their essential like Miles Morales.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah. Good
They
point.
should do it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Black Adam. Teased with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. No official trailer.
Yeah. Again, well, because nothing's shot.
Nothing shot. But it did have a concept art kind of
So
trailer.
So like the whole time, like The Rock was just like so confident in this like little panel he got and stuff like that, which I love.
The
You
funny
know?
thing about The Rock is that he didn't get the part like when they announced it.
Yeah.
He like forced himself into the part.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong or
No,
is that
I
because
don't
that's
know.
how I
mean,
remember it?
You know what? Like up to this point, it could have been like that because I know that they like announced it, but I remember him saying like throwing his hat in the ring.
Mhm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And
The
then-
concept art that was showcasing
Yeah.
someone like a fan did
Yeah. Oh, that's
art
what
of it?
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like,
And I think Warner Brothers was like, "Whoa."
yeah.
He
He looks good as the
he-
Black Adam. Like,
no,
heck yeah.
the concept art that they showed, like the little animation concept art,
Yeah.
was actually really good. I see it, and I'm really excited to see how they're gonna expand because apparently this is their way of expanding a whole nother part of the DC universe.
Yes. So before I move on with this whole
Yeah.
thing, I wish we had the confidence of Dwayne The Rock Johnson
I know.
where you just bust through a door
Right?
and like just take the role
there you go.
because
It's mine.
yeah,
Just comes
that's
in.
what he did. He
Yeah.
essentially just busted through the Warner Brothers
Mhm.
door and was like, I'm Black Adam. Okay. And
Yeah.
like we just accepted it and
Mhm.
he looks good.
He
I don't know
does.
if I want to root for the Black Adam, but it's like,
So-
how do you root against Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Well, again, this is they're doing a Black Adam movie, and I was really kind of scared of because this is a villain, and it's like, how are you gonna do that? Because he's the main character.
The Suicide Squad.
essentially. Oh yeah, see.
That's an example
That's
of how
an
you
example,
make
yeah.
villains into a movie.
yeah,
You know, Suicide Squad
or Joker.
or Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't make the characters sympathize. You
No.
make the characters relatable,
Mhm.
but then also show that this is who they are. though.
Exactly. Yeah. So the teaser showcased concept art
Mhm.
while Dwayne The Rock Johnson narrated the origins of the
Yeah.
Black Adam.
Mhm.
And then future or further teasers it did
Yeah.
announce that the Justice League Society of America, or not Justice League, the Justice, oh my god, I'm going to
Just
yell that.
the
for that.
JSA.
Oh, man,
JSA. Just say JSA.
No, I already said Justice League. They're gonna kill me for that. They announced that the Justice Society of America will be featured in the Black Adam movie, and this is going to include. Go ahead and name the villains because I don't deserve this.
Adam Smasher. Noah Centro or Noah
Centio, I think. We're gonna get killed for this.
Hawkman. Well, no one knows Noah Centio. Hawkman, Cyclone, and Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate. We got him in the Arrowverse, didn't we?
For a short time. Yeah.
That is the one I'm most excited. Yeah. That's the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah, he's a powerful character. He's a very, very interesting character as well, too.
Who is the daughter of the person that takes the mantle of Dr. Fate?
Oh, in Young Justice?
Yeah.
Zantana.
So we might see that.
I
hope.
Yeah.
Because she's not a bad character either.
She's really cool. Yeah.
So I really hope that it might be a developed Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, there's been other Dr. Fates in the DC
but
universe.
That's the current one.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. I don't think that these are characters that, are barely adapting to the role. I think that these are characters that are going to be already in their role.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm stuck with Dr. Fate. I'm excited to see him.
Yeah.
And I really hope that we get to see, I forget it, I can't pronounce it. For some reason, Z words end up, getting confused in my head. Zantana. I really hope that they maybe tease her in the movie.
That'd be cool.
Which would be interesting.
I think overall, just for them to bring in the JSA is really interesting, and to have Black Adam involved with that, that's a really interesting story concept. Because he's been around for thousands of years and stuff, and then to come in and be part of the JSA, but then them realizing that Black Adam is not really a member that they want in the team, and then him just doing his own thing.
Yeah,
that's gonna be so cool to watch, especially with The Rock playing that character.
There is excitement for this movie.
Yes, definitely.
There's excitement.
There's hype now built for this movie.
Okay, so one more piece of news before we get to the biggest reveals of all time for the DC FanDome event. So before we move on to the biggest reveals, there was a teaser with John Ridley pretty much discussing his work on a 4-issue miniseries with Batman. Yeah. Pretty much, if you don't know who John Ridley is, he's had some works with DC Comics and some other comic book writings as well. But he is most well known for 12 Years of Slaves. That one was Oscar nominated, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't know if it won. I can't remember, and I should know. But there were Oscar. There were mentions on there. So big writer. And in this panel or this interview that he had with them, pretty much he was discussing that there's a 47%, and this is a quote, 40% chance of this Batman being a colored Batman. So he's not going to write about the Bruce Wayne Batman. He's going to be writing about a different Batman. Yeah. Okay. So it'll focus on Lucius Fox's family, which there is some sort of illusion that this might be the son of Fox.
So this is has happened before, but not as Batman. Lucius Fox's son has been part of the Bat family. He was Batwing.
I thought Lucius Fox was Batwing.
No, it was his son.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's happened in the New 52.
Okay.
And now the New 52 is it's no longer relevant, but it's now Rebirth, obviously, and stuff. But yeah, that he's never been really Batman, but he was Batwing.
Okay.
And that character was kind of okay. The way that they wrote him was pretty wonky and weird to me, at least.
Yeah. There's some people that actually like the Batwing comics.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So I do want to tackle on that in a bit, but before we do, this identity, this is all illusion. This is all pretty much.
This is all
it's all,
where you went,
or we don't know exactly, but this identity of the Batman's unknown, and it was pretty much said that this will not replace the existing Bruce Wayne. It is going to coexist alongside a Bruce Wayne Batman. As far as we know, that's pretty much what they're going forward. The thing that we don't know is that if it's going to exist within the same universe or be separate. So the current run of Batman is written by, do you remember who it is?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's what is it? Tom Daniel or?
Let's look him up. Current. We should know this.
I know. Current. Well, because right now he's writing Joker War.
No, it's not Scott Snyder.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, James Tynion.
Is it James Tynion?
Yeah, right there, James Tynion. That's funny. They say Scott Snyder.
Scott Snyder left years ago.
Yeah.
Don't remind us.
James
that
Tynion
art,
is
that writing
yeah.
and that art by Greg
So
Capullo,
good.
fucking fantastic. Friggin' fantastic.
Yeah.
Just, oh my God, man. Just, it's great. But yeah.
Mhm.
So going back to the whole, possibly being the son of
Lucius,
Fox,
Yeah.
I am interested in seeing how they might approach this, because this might kind of take a run like Miles Morales taking the mantle of Spider-Man. He
Yeah.
is a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right? But,
He is a
Peter
Spider-Man.
Parker, now we have Spider-Man, Peter Parker
Yeah.
coexisting alongside Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, we have Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
Which is always cool.
and
See.
Peter Capaldi, or
Yeah.
not Peter Capaldi,
Peter,
Peter Parker, Spider-Man,
Peter Parker,
right?
Yeah.
This could possibly mean that this Batman might take the name of Batman for a bit
Which
to
is-
kind of settle in
yeah.
as the role of Batman.
Mhm.
And then, I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's not a sort of like a replacement. It might be like a temporary hold of the mantle.
That's the thing, and they always do that, which is cool.
Uh-huh.
They do that. They did that with Batman previously,
Mhm.
where Jim Gordon was Batman for a bit. He had
Oh,
he had
bunny
the
suit
Mexican-
Batman.
Yeah, bunny suit Batman. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's really, I mean,
That's right, Bunny Suit.
You
That was
just
a
forgot
good
about-
comic.
That was actually a really good run, because it was like just seeing Jim Gordon just kind of like hold the mantle for a bit. Like, even he knew that he wasn't going to be Batman for a while. He was just basically there just to kind of like keep things in order.
Mm-hmm. Who else, when Batman died, took the mantle of Batman?
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, who did? There's been stories that when it's not canon, but like there's been like stories in the future where it's like Damian Wayne has been Batman as well too.
Mm-hmm.
It's called I think that one's called Damian the Son of Batman or something like that.
It'd be interesting to see how this goes. I don't think it's a repetition. I know that John Ridley won't make this repetitive or
No, I don't-
relatable to
yeah.
other writings
I-
that allude to
I
it.
think if
but-
anything, I don't think it's going to be directly canon. I think it's going to be something that they're going to try and see how it goes. And if it becomes a success, they'll probably make this character canon within the DC universe.
Multiverse.
Yeah, within the multiverse.
It'd be interesting to see Bruce Wayne kind of hand the mantle over to this person.
Yeah.
If it is a separate universe,
Mhm.
say like, well, right now I can't be Batman. I have to kind of like what he did with, well, not necessarily like Terry McGinnis, where he handed him the Batman mantle
Yeah.
because he got old and couldn't handle the bat suit
Yeah.
in its current condition.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting for Bruce Wayne to say like, look, right now I have other priorities, and he becomes more of like a old Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, but younger,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of teaches him the ways of Batman in preparation for his retirement.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see.
That's
And while he kind of handles Wayne Industries, because I know that Fox is the head of Wayne Industries,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting for him to kind of co-work with Fox and run Wayne Industries into a different direction,
Oh, definitely.
and then give the mantle of Batman to this person and be like, you are now going to be the defender of Gotham. Maybe it could be Batwing coming into Gotham. I don't know. It could be something. I don't know.
That'll be interesting. I don't know. We'll see.
There's a lot of speculation here, but
Yeah.
we might be wrong. We might get people mad with this, but this is pretty much what I think.
This is
what
what
you
our
think.
thought. Yeah.
So it's our opinions and stuff like that. Yeah. Like we said, if there's anything that you guys think, leave them in the comments below or hit us up on our socials. It'd be interesting to see other ideas as well. All right. The biggest portion of the podcast, and we're only 50 minutes in.
Oh man. Dang.
All right, so like I said, this is a long podcast, so
Yeah.
be ready for it. The biggest reveals of the DC fandom event. We're going to leave the Batman movie for last because there's a lot to talk about, but let us discuss Suicide Squad by James Gunn.
So they didn't reveal a trailer per se, but they released of what they've done, and which is cool because they've recorded, filmed some scenes. It looks like they filmed maybe the final scene because they always do that in Hollywood first. You have to film the big budget scene first in case anything happens, So it looks like what they're doing is that they're fighting on an island, which looks cool. All these characters, James Gunn looks excited for it.
James Gunn looks like he had so much fun, or is having so much fun, like doing this, which is good.
And I think that is because I don't want to say anything, but because with his last thing with Marvel, his little thing that he had with Marvel,
The whole debate or whatever,
the whole debate about like when he was quote unquote let go and then brought back, and I think
Oh, because he was let go, and that's when DC brought him in.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
And, it looks like Warner Brothers knows that, okay, we're going to give him free range because he did Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And Guardians became a whole nother thing.
Guardians is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And those were characters that no one knew or cared about.
He put Guardians of the Galaxy on the map.
Yeah.
For Marvel, too.
Yeah.
Because they did a run of the comics afterwards.
No. Now, he set the stage of a Marvel movie because now, after that, it's like other Marvel movies after that have been kind of similar. Where it's like, oh, yeah, they're going to put in like this awesome soundtrack and stuff like that with this little bit of humor. Because Thor Ragnarok is like that, almost.
It has the Taika Waititi flair to it.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And I think Taika Waititi is a different beast. Taika Waititi always draws his... I've always loved his interviews because Taika Waititi always kind of talks as if he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's always like, yeah, I mean, sure, we planned it.
Yeah,
yes, it's exactly how I wanted it. No, it's not how I wanted it.
So with James Gunn giving him a Suicide Squad movie, it's just gonna make it so much fun. I'll call it right here. There's gonna be a lot of deaths.
Okay.
Because of the cast.
Yes.
And the characters that he's chosen, which we'll get into right now. So the cast is huge.
Yes, that is like the biggest talk right there because the first Suicide. This is a soft reboot, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is not okay. So I don't know if it's canon. Or if they're just moving forward and just kind of like,
Viola Davis as Amanda Waller is pretty much
and then
back.
Also, what's his name? The guy that the army dude, Rick Flag, Joel Kinnaman. He was in the last one as well too. So he's the only one, along with which I thought I'm more shocked that he has Harley Quinn in this movie. So I remember he said he wasn't thinking about putting her in,
but you can't. It's Margot Robbie.
It's Margot Robbie.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's name the cast real quick for those that haven't. Idris Elba as Bloodsport, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, John Cena as Peacemaker. John Cena.
That makes me laugh.
Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
Oh yeah, and Jai Courtney.
Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang.
He's a good Captain Boomerang. He's funny. I like him.
Was he in the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't like Jai Courtney in general, but I like him.
But he did a good Boomerang.
No, he did a good Captain Boomerang.
Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, David Dastmalchian, I think I'm mispronouncing that.
As Polka Dot Man.
Which is really weird to see, but I'm honestly interested.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Danielle Melchior, I think I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah.
Ratcatcher 2. Steve Agee as King Shark.
Yes. I love King Shark.
Sean Gunn as
Weasel. Which, again... Oh my God, James Gunn's just having fun with this.
He's just straight up like, no Killer Croc, but you're giving me King Shark, man. Come on. Fiola Borg as Javelin.
Which, again, Javelin, that's the most obscure villain.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The King of Nerds, Nathan Fillion as TDK. Peter Capaldi.
The Doctor.
Sure.
As the Thinker. Which, again, if you guys, the Thinker was featured on the Flash show. He was in season 6 or 5, I think.
This is a different iteration.
This is a different iteration.
But Peter Capaldi is a weird casting choice. Good to see him, though. I
love to see him involved in comic book stuff.
Pete Davidson.
A person I didn't think was going to be involved in comic book stuff.
I cannot wait to see him. I like him as a comedian, so it'd be funny to see him on here.
I want to see him interact with everyone.
Yes. As Blackguard. Alice Braga as Sol Soraya.
Yeah.
Myling Nguyen as Mongol.
Mongal or Mongol? Is it Mongol?
I
Is
think
she Mongol?
Mongol.
Oh.
Michael Rooker as Savant.
Of course, with James Gunn movie, you have to have Michael Rooker.
Of course. Storm Reed as Tyla.
Bloodsport's daughter. Okay.
And Jennifer Holland as Emilia Harcourt and Juan Diego Boto as Luna. So this is a massive cast.
It's a huge cast. So
you are 100% right that there is death.
In every Suicide Squad, like story or movie or any sort of thing, there's characters always die. So I think that in not going down like the list, but not thinking about the lower ones, but like obviously the higher known actors, I think Peacemaker's gonna die, aka John Cena. Now he's not gonna die in the beginning. I think he's gonna die in the end. No. Because his character he's an asshole. Peacemaker as a character, he's an asshole.
He's been talking a lot too.
Yeah.
You notice that he literally said, "Yeah, I'm the asshole version of Captain America."
Yeah.
So there's the, yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
I think so. In every Suicide Squad movie, someone has to, or comic book, someone's head has to explode because they have those little chips in their head. So I think, if anything, if I was to claim that a character was gonna die, maybe Mongol or Mangal. I want to say that.
It's kind of hard to look at these characters and think of,
Or maybe the Thinker. It's like,
Peter Capaldi's
I
head
would
blows up.
love to see Peter Capaldi's head blow up.
Here's okay.
Or
so,
even Nathan Fillion. Like, if he wasn't even going to be part of the movie, that would be funny, honestly. It's just
oh, man, to see
marketed
that-
as Nathan Fillion and then like
see that man's head explode would make me cry.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I feel like so. Usually, when you look at these movies and you think of like, oh well, they're gonna die, you don't want these characters to die.
No.
But it's James Gunn.
It's James Gunn.
And
Of
to
course he's going to
think of
kill
it-
someone.
Yes, but they're gonna be comedic ways of
Oh,
death.
yes.
Like one of them is probably gonna have their head, like you said, head blown off.
Yeah.
Another one might set off an accidental explosion
Yeah.
and they might die. Maybe someone gets crushed underneath
Yeah.
something.
Or another character kills another character.
Or exactly,
Yeah.
just because.
Just because.
I kind of have a feeling that there's going to be a character in there that tries to save someone else. The one that we know that won't die is Harley Quinn's character.
For sure. Because
Margot Robbie has to live.
She's
like,
a staple.
obviously.
Yeah, she's a staple. I think So the characters that are always safe to me, in my opinion, are Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang, obviously Amanda Waller, and Harley Quinn.
Pete Davidson's dead. It's Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
They're going to kill him.
they're
off.
gonna kill him, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be a funny way to kill him. Too.
Oh, yes. You know that. You obviously,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. I
think
kind of have a
Javelin's
feeling
gonna
that
die,
Polka Dot Man might die too.
You know what? I have a feeling Polka Dot Man is. We're gonna think he's gonna die. He's gonna have a close call, and he's not gonna die.
But then he dies.
But then, well, probably maybe towards the end. It'll probably be like an after credit thing.
It'd be interesting. Polka Dot Man is the interesting one. It's like,
Right?
yeah, it's like, okay, sure.
And then I'm kind of interested because they, to see what kind of mission they're gonna do, especially in the DC universe.
They didn't reveal any of that stuff.
Nothing. No, it just revealed the cast. That was it, which is good.
Yeah,
'Cause that's all I need to know.
If you notice in the panel where they had the cast on there, John Cena did this whole thing. He
Yeah.
joked about it.
Mhm.
So I kind of have a feeling that they'll probably implement some sort of wrestling joke
Right?
on there.
It's like he's
Yeah,
like,
or
what?
like you can't see me
He's
kind
like,
of thing.
Can you see me at all?
Yeah, James Gunn will be smart enough
Oh,
to
yeah,
implement
definitely.
on there. So that was pretty much the cast. We were alluding to the fact that there's a lot of deaths. It's kind of already like a 99% chance that there's going to be deaths of these
It's gonna
characters
be a
because
fun
of the cast.
movie.
It'll be completely fun.
Hilarious.
The movie posters that were revealed for this,
Mhm.
fantastic looking.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Just phenomenal. It
Mhm.
looks great. It looks like this is just, it's fun is just written all over this movie.
Yeah.
And then personally, I wrote a little personal note for myself, but immediately from the title when it was revealed,
Mhm.
it screamed comic book.
Yeah.
And you'll see this in the video because this is one of my top 3 things that was announced at the DC FanDome event. But I immediately fell in love with the look of this movie, the direction, the title. More importantly, the costumes are very, very,
Yeah.
very flashy looking.
Yeah.
Usually with a lot of these serious comic book movies, you kind of have a serious tone to the costume of certain
Mhm.
characters. This isn't going in that direction.
No.
Peacemaker, for example.
Yeah. Peacemaker looks exactly how he looks.
Peacemaker.
I think that's what makes this Suicide Squad movie different from its one before. Was in the movie of the first one, they were basically, their costumes was like, oh, let's just do it, but let's see how they would look realistic if it was a realistic
Deadshot.
Yeah, Deadshot.
As Will Smith's Deadshot was like really serious.
Mhm.
Killer Croc didn't even have a nose. It was just kind of like,
he had like a leather jacket. I'm like, why is he wearing clothes?
he looked like a deformed humanoid alligator.
Yeah, he wasn't
Or
even
crocodile.
big.
Excuse me.
I mean, I'm used to Killer Croc being a little bit bigger at
Mhm.
least. But, and then, Jai Courtney, or was it Captain Boomerang? He was okay, but still. And then, like, was it Inferno? Or was Diablo? Diablo was like,
They just didn't look the way that we kind of wanted them to look.
yeah.
King Shark? Oh my god,
Yeah,
man.
they showed-
Whoops, sorry.
sorry.
I didn't mean to move
yeah.
the mic. King Shark and Weasel.
Yeah. I've seen how they look. They look so good.
And Polka Dot Man.
And Polka Dot Man looks funny. I
Polka
love
Dot
it.
Man looks exactly the way he would look.
If anything, second or after Nathan Fillion's DDK, I'm also excited to see Polka Dot Man in this film.
Polka Dot Man's gonna be
Because
a fun
because he's just an absurd villain.
Yes,
And I love that, like, James Gunn just, like, basically looked at, like, a DC villains encyclopedia and just went, like, I'm gonna use that one, I'm gonna use him. Polka Dot Man, definitely. He's all, like...
Basically.
Yeah.
And Harley Quinn's new costume, my God, does it look great.
It looks better. I love the color scheme more. They have the diamonds, black and red diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
I love that she has a bazooka, you know?
They went with the reimagining version of Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because, like, if you don't know the history of Harley Quinn, it's that she started off as a character in the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
That's where she originated from.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went through different iterations in costumes. So she had her, like, jester-looking
Mm-hmm.
kind of clothing. It went into the current run, which is her short shorts and her short top and stuff like that. There were different iterations, but somewhere in between there was the bomber look.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's
the
what
bomber
I like.
look.
That's what I like, you know.
So,
and they're not doing red and blue. I don't like the red and blue Harley Quinn.
It's a free form Harley Quinn. I mean, I didn't mind it, but it was just kind of like I'm in the same boat. It's like,
It's definitely better than the Birds of Prey costume. I didn't really like the costume for Birds of Prey.
I didn't mind her in Birds of Prey. I actually am one of the people that advocate for people to watch Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah,
it's a good movie.
I haven't watched
it
yet.
It's a really good movie.
Okay.
It's a very fun movie that I feel needed to happen to solidify Harley Quinn's existence, or not Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie's existence as Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Because I feel like she hasn't had her shot properly. She's always been supporting cast.
That's true.
Now to see her as a major, like the main role in a movie,
Yeah.
it makes it clear that she is a definite Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Live action version of Harley Quinn.
All right.
So I really like that. Yeah, it's like I said, this movie screams comic book influence. It's a comic book ode, similar to that of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, in my opinion.
Wow.
The art, like at least in my opinion, you know, when we look at Scott Pilgrim, you think about how Edgar Wright essentially adapted to writing or having someone draw and animate the bam whams and the
That's
booms
true. Yeah.
to basically showcase that this is a comic book influenced movie. And this is what I feel like James Gunn is doing. The costumes are crazy. They're fun. They look great.
Yeah.
The logo is very flashy. The movie poster looks like a piece of comic book art. This is what I want to see, and I really have high hopes for this movie. I said this, and I feel like I might get destroyed for it, but I don't care. This could potentially be one of the best DC movies to come out from Warner Brothers.
Ooh.
Because
And that's right before we're about to talk this next topic too.
Yes, but hear me out. So when you think of like the current run of DC movies that have come out, the one for me that is the most fun has been Shazam. And I think that Shazam, even though I visually didn't like it as much, it was a movie that was very fun to watch, and you enjoyed it.
No, you're definitely right. Shazam was one of the better DC movies, because when you look at Batman versus Superman, there's some things that I liked about it. Obviously, I do like Batman versus Superman, but there are some things that I didn't agree with it. You know, same thing with Man of Steel. It was a good movie. I liked it.
Man of Steel was visually amazing to look at.
Yeah, but there are still, again, things I didn't agree with. Aquaman. Again, Aquaman, great film. Liked it. Again, other things that I didn't agree with completely about it. The direction. Shazam was actually really good. Loved everything about it. It didn't take itself too seriously.
Bingo.
It was fun. And it was just a good little ride, and that's why I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think that James Gunn will take that tone of a serious movie and the fun aspects of Shazam and then marriage them together into this movie and just make it look visually appealing. Yeah. Fantastic shots. Overall fun. You're gonna walk out of that movie with a smile on your face and think like, damn, that was a fantastic movie to watch. You're not gonna root for these characters, but you're gonna be like, oh my god, that was a fun
It's definitely gonna be like Guardians. You're walking out after watching Guardians for the first time, the first movie, you're gonna be like, whoa, that was something.
Yes. So that's what I hope for James Gunn.
I see it. I see what you mean.
Yeah. All right. Suicide Squad is done. Let's move Suicide Squad over here. And the big part, the big topic of this whole thing, the part that made you cry. Literally, the note on this, guys, I make the outlines for these episodes. The note for this is The Batman Movie by Matt Reeves. Underneath it, no notes needed. Go ham, mates. No notes. We're going ham on this. All right, Batman, Matt Reeves. We finally get the big announcement, and yes, we are going to talk a lot about this. Hold on tight, guys. This is our own opinions on this whole thing.
I literally got chills.
Thinking about it. God. Okay, So with this whole Batman, it was pretty much teased. I think that it was kind of announced before the pandemic. They already said that they were going to do it.
So let's go back a little bit because I want to talk about because like this Batman movie in particular was originally it started out as Batflick's Batman. It was supposed to be originally Batflick's Batman.
Yes.
Then he was supposed to direct it, write it, and star it. He
out of the window.
Yeah. He then stepped down as director and was like, I'll write it and then I'll star it. Let's get a director. Matt Reeves was in talks. He was going to do it. But then I think they got Ben Affleck's script and basically tweaked it up a bit. They're like, we want to do it this way. And then Matt Reeves was like, well, I want to do a younger Batman. You know, and then that's when Ben Affleck was like, he was dealing with other stuff at the time. So then he was like, you know what? I'm going to step down as Batman. He personally chose to step down as Batman. And then Warner Brothers was kind of siding towards Matt Reeves's version more, and they went with this one more and stuff like that, which was at the time I wasn't agreeing with it, but at the same time, you know, I guess after seeing this trailer, you know, they know what vision they're going to go towards. So, you know, and then the casting came out. Who's going to be the next Batman? Who's going to be this version of Matt Reeves' Batman? That so many people were like, you know, oh yeah, John Hamm, you know, maybe John Hamm could do it. But they're like, no, he's too older and stuff. And I remember when they finally said it was Robert Pattinson. And the internet, again, it's something about us or DC fans. Whenever
it's not just DC fans.
Yeah, no.
It's the nerd.
Yeah, it's the
nerd circle. Yeah.
Whenever a Batman movie gets announced and then they cast and release the actor that's going to play, we just love to ridicule that actor right then and there as soon as we know it.
It doesn't help that Robert Pattinson is most well known for, and I know friend of the show Bishop keeps saying Robert Pattinson is one of the best actors to come out of this generation.
No, yeah.
Yes, he's a good actor.
He's definitely stepped out of the whole Twilight
but persona. It just doesn't help that his face is all over Twilight.
Yeah.
And even on my Twitter feed, I have people saying like, oh, Edward looks so different. No, you are ruining his image.
Stop it. No.
He belongs to the nerds now.
So, because the same thing happened to Michael Keaton when he got announced, and people were like, Mr. Mom is going to play, because he was known for like, he wasn't known for like action or anything. He was doing mostly romantic comedies. And that's what Michael Keaton, he was stepping out of that. Same thing happened. I think, I don't think Christian Bale got ridiculed.
No, because Christian Bale already had this kind of like, not tone, but I would say like, image that he could portray anything and everything because he literally adapted to the roles that were given to him. So like I don't think Christian Bale was that.
And then Ben Affleck, obviously.
Ben Affleck is Ben Affleck.
Affleck is Ben Affleck. And then I remember one friend told me, excuse me, I said burp because it's bang. and I remember a friend told me, he's actually one of my best friends now, but at the time we weren't. So he was always like saying, oh, when I see the Ben Affleck Batman movie, all I'm going to see is Ben Affleck in a bat suit. And I'm like, that's what it is. What you want to change his face?
What do you want? Do you want your face on the bat suit?
Right.
What exactly are you looking for?
It's exactly what you're looking at. You're looking at Ben Affleck in the bat suit. So then when Robert Pattinson was announced, obviously, oh God, the internet was just like having fun with it.
I don't want a vampire Batman. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah.
Oh, the bigger guy. He should be a bigger guy. First of all, Batman is whoever he needs to be. You know, he doesn't need to be a big buff dude. Though Ben Affleck set up that stage. You know, we all saw how big he was and stuff like that in the Batman versus Superman. Yeah. But in this one, oh my God. So let's start with the trailer, how it started. Like do
we want to jump into the trailer, or do we kind of want to talk about Matt Reeves first?
You know what? Okay, let's talk about Matt Reeves because he set it up perfectly before the trailer came.
Yes.
Before.
So can I take this one?
Go
okay.
For it.
I'll handle the director stuff here.
The director.
Okay, so Matt Reeves, I completely forgot that Matt Reeves directed Cloverfield.
Yeah.
And that he directed the first and third new iterations of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, he didn't do the second one.
No.
But the first one, Rise of Planet of the Apes, was good.
Okay.
And then it was Dawn of Planet of the Apes.
So.
And then War was like the best one.
My God. Okay, so
I saw that in theaters.
Oh my God. Okay, so I have an emotion. I got chills with Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes, I have a very close connection to
same
my
here.
dad.
Same thing. No.
Yeah.
My dad, we watched all the original Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, same.
Because they were showing a marathon, and me and him sat down and we just watched those movies. And I was only, I think, like maybe 9,
yes.
10 years old, and
those
my God, movies are
it changes my way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the new iteration of.
Oh yeah, the way they did it was great.
So, let's toss aside Cloverfield, because Cloverfield was a fun movie. It really did make me think.
It was good.
It was good.
It was good.
It was a good take on Invasion of Earth.
Yeah.
But when we look at Planet of the Apes, which is his most recent pieces,
mm-hmm.
big budget movies, Planet of the Apes is the movie that my dad and he unfortunately didn't get the chance to watch the last version. He
mm-hmm.
passed away before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to go see it with an old friend of mine.
Yeah.
And the thing about Planet of the Apes was that, to me, it's a movie that I really have to be careful to who I recommend to,
mm-hmm.
because it's in my opinion, a very heavy movie.
Yeah.
It deals a lot with kind of human interaction with nature and how we treat things and how we perceive things.
Yeah.
Especially in the second one, when the chimps and the apes have pretty much already established their domain
yeah.
and have wiped out, the virus has essentially wiped out most of humanity.
Yeah, and which is again, the way that Matt Reeves grabbed, because in the original Planet of the Apes there are so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's the whole Caesar aspect of it, then the whole virus thing, and the way he did it in the first movie, kind of bringing everything in, and then by the end of the movie he mentioned about the virus, and I was like, oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see at the end,
the
pandemic of it,
which is similar to what's going on now, which is creepy.
Right?
I always, at the beginning of the pandemic, and
yeah.
we shouldn't joke about it, but at the beginning of the pandemic, I kind of mentioned to people, it's like, you don't think about how easily stuff like this spreads.
Yeah.
But in sci-fi, they kind of portrayed it.
Oh, they
and
do
that last scene,
A Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
In the credits, when it
mm-hmm.
starts to spread, yeah, that's exactly how the
mm-hmm.
virus is spread. Matt Reeves understands it. And what I think about Matt Reeves directing those movies, Matt Reeves hits the emotional parts of his topics. Yeah. He wants you to feel like what you're watching, and wants you to understand and feel compassion towards this other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tragedy. All these 1 and 2 are tragedies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't end well.
No.
Even though you think, because if you guys haven't seen the Planet of the Apes, the newer runs,
mm-hmm.
please watch them.
Yeah.
Again, be careful if you are very sensitive to kind of emotional stuff and can't handle human interaction kind of stuff. And again, if you don't feel comfortable watching it, it's a very heavy movie.
Yeah.
They're very heavy movies, but I really recommend them to people. I'm just careful again with who I say. It's complicated. It's I want to recommend it, but I don't.
It's a good trilogy, guys.
Yes.
Check it out.
The first one doesn't end well, even though I forget his character, kind of...
James Franco?
Oh, James Franco, yes, thank you. He kind of agrees with Caesar and says we'll let you live in peace out in the forest and we won't bother you. We've accepted you. Yeah. Kind of establishes the trust between the apes and humans to coexist together. The new evolution of apes, right? Then it ends with humans dying because of the virus.
Yes.
We can skip the second one because the second one was more of an action movie, even though it set up a proper direction for the third one.
Yeah.
If spoiler, give us 10 seconds, skip 10 seconds for this. Caesar dies.
Yeah.
And that massive reveal is not easy to take, because he is the representation of this entire movie and the reason why the apes are able to maintain stability.
He does it. Yeah. Matt Reeves did a great job of showing how the apes really rely on Caesar.
Caesar was
he captured
the point.
That. Yeah, he captured.
I want to cry. I want to cry just talking about this because
in the old Planet of the Apes, the apes that are in the future now hail Caesar. They he's a god to them and stuff. And in the new iterations, again, Matt Reeves does a great job of showing how the apes really rely
on Caesar.
But
Caesar never sees himself as a god in this one. He's just a normal ape like everyone else, leading his people to...
Which is another great thing that he does.
So Matt Reeves in this one understood how to make, at least me, feel like I have to feel some sort of sympathy. My emotion to this. I remember watching the last scene of the... what is it? The...
War?
Is it War of the Planet of the Apes?
The third one?
Yeah. I cried. I love the direction in that movie. Will forever impact my life and the way of seeing film
Mhm.
as it is. Matt Reeves directing a Batman movie. We're gonna go back to the Batman because
Yeah.
we did talk about a Batman Hunter Apes, which is not the topic. It's Batman.
But it's the topic with
Exactly.
Matt Reeves, the way he directs movies.
I feel like this Batman movie will hit much more different.
Yeah.
I will even say that it is going to be way miles and miles and miles better than the Christopher Nolan run.
No, I completely agree.
I cannot wait because the entire time Matt Reeves was discussing in his interview about how he's approaching the Batman movie, you can tell that this man wanted it to approach Batman in a different direction. He understood it. You said it yourself before we started recording that he was talking about how there's no definitive run of Batman. There's always different ways to tell his origin story from year 0 to year 1 to year 2 to his actual, cemented run of Batman when he becomes Batman.
Yeah.
And he understands that. He isn't saying that this is the definite run. I have a feeling that Matt Reeves is going to give us a very raw version of Batman. A very raw version of Bruce Wayne.
Because in this one, like, the way the trailer, again, I wasn't expecting a trailer.
No.
I wasn't expecting a trailer at all. And this was the last thing that DC Fandoms decided to show. This was like, okay, cool. We showed you the Suicide Squad. We showed you more of Wonder Woman 84. We're telling you, oh yeah, we're gonna move forward with Black Adam. We're gonna do an Aquaman movie. Cool. I mean, we all knew that they're gonna show something for the Batman, but
we got a better look at the Batsuit. Did you
you
paid attention to the whole interview, right?
So what? Okay, so because you mentioned the Batsuit. So what I loved that Matt Reeves is doing with the Batsuit is that if you look at the emblem, remember before it kind of looked mechanical and stuff. So I've been reading. And I'm hoping this is true. This is fan theories, or they're saying that that's inside that emblem, why it looks like the way it is Batman put the gun that shot his parents as the emblem. And that's happened in the comic books, where Bruce Wayne tracked down the gun that killed his parents and put it as an emblem, and saying that, and then Alfred has said, why are you doing this? He goes, because this gun was created to take lives. So now it's going to live the rest of its existence protecting a life. And I was like, oh. And you just, if you don't know, Brian just right now is like emotional. He's crying. I think he's on the verge of tears right now.
It's just beautiful.
Right?
It's like, that's the thing, is that when Matt Reeves spoke, I can't find words to like pretty much say it. It's like everything he said to me made sense.
It does.
From the creation of the Batsuit, he's like, yeah, I wanted, like, the fact that he took his time to say that I spoke to different Batmans and said, like, Christian Bale, what do you look forward in a Batman suit? Mobility. You have to move, you have to live.
Yeah.
This is a suit that you
And
have
this
to
one-
be
and-
comfortable in.
And then this suit, Robert Pattinson has like a collar and he's moving his neck around too.
Yeah.
Like
the detail.
Yeah.
And then he talked about the Batmobile too. The Batmobile, I'm a car guy.
Oh,
The Batmobile is a big
dude.
thing. I'm a person that doesn't like the Tumbler. I didn't like the Tumbler.
No, the Tumbler was like
It was a
too
tank.
big. It was too big.
Yeah, it was a tank.
And I liked the Ben Affleck one because it was a little bit more sleek.
It was sleek. It was
It was
nice.
fast.
It was
You
good.
can see it's fast.
Batman animated Batmobile.
Oh yeah.
66's Batmobile is
so
like
good.
just fun. Who else am I thinking? Didn't Keaton have his own Batmobile too?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And then
that was good.
Val Kilmer had his own little one. It was like the same thing as the Keaton, but it was more like LED flashing, kind of in a way.
This Batmobile, and he said it perfectly. He's like, you have to establish like the story pretty much first before you begin to do all these different things. You can tell that there's an influence of there's the influence of a young, still learning year 2 Batman in the Batmobile because it's a sleek Knight Rider look.
Right? Yeah.
It is. It's beautiful. Like, I'm not even going to use the word sexy. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's like, I didn't even get like the photos that were revealed for the Batsuit and the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Didn't do it justice. I said in my Facebook post, it's a sin that he did what he did
right?
to hold on to it for so long, and now we finally get a look at it.
And
because Jesus Christ, that Batmobile is beautiful.
Seeing it move and then seeing it live action.
Did you notice the massive engine in the back, similar to the animated series Batman, and then the sleek flat line eraser head look of the front is just.
And it has back fins or something. You're
I'm just in love with everything about this, and I want to hand over the trailer portion of it because there's nothing else that I can say besides I have full faith in Matt Reeves, and I have a feeling that with what I heard from the interview, I will probably cry multiple times. And keep in mind, Batman isn't my favorite. You know, we said it before in I think the last issue. I relate more to Spider-Man, but I still have a place in my heart for Batman, and I think that this will target that place and just make me cry multiple times watching this. I'm gonna hand you over the trailer portion of this.
Yes. So, the trailer portion of this I've watched this trailer, I think, like over 10 times now since it's got released.
It's a god tier trailer.
So the whole thing, like, it started out so interesting. Like, you get like a Seven vibe from it. With if you guys don't know, Seven is with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, and basically that movie's also has Kevin Spacey in it as well too, and it has to deal with like a serial killer aspect, kind of like very gothic noir kind of vibe, which again, this what it feels like in this whole movie. And then we get I forgot they casted him as Commissioner Gordon. Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey, can I take over for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
I don't. You just got done watching Westworld and stuff like that.
I don't want to be disrespectful to Matt Reeves or to Robert Pattinson's Batman or the Batsuit or Batmobile. Jeffrey, goddamn right.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, if people say, "Oh, well, Commissioner Gordon isn't black,"
no,
f off.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
If you have not seen the first season of Westworld, that's as far as I got. I'm still going to watch seasons 2 and 3. But Jeffrey goddamn
Jeffrey
Wright. My God,
so
man.
amazing.
That
Bernard,
man
right? Bernard,
has my heart.
Yeah.
To see him as Commissioner Gordon, holy crap, man.
No, so
he's a perfect fit.
So I've read online that our watch reactions, some people were like, "Oh, Jeffrey Wright should have been Lucius Fox." I'm like, no, that's because that's too easy. That's too easy for him to play. Having him as Commissioner Gordon is going to be obviously really good, and it's going to be a different type of character he's going to play as.
I've always imagined Commissioner Gordon from the animated series, where he's just kind of long trench coat, hands in his pocket, the bat signal on, and he's just waiting as Batman appears from the shadows, and he doesn't get startled by it. Jeffrey Wright has this image to him where he is not terrified.
No,
he is in the front lines. That is what I want to see from Commissioner Gordon. Front lines, man who's not afraid, will tackle the mysteries and will tackle the cop work that needs to be done. That is what Jeffrey Wright is going to play.
He'll get his hands dirty.
Oh my God, Jeffrey Wright. I cannot wait for that one. I cannot wait for his Commissioner Gordon. He might actually, in my opinion, be the Commissioner Gordon we've all wanted.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Jeffrey Wright, go on. Sorry, I had to take over for a second.
And then the trailer goes on and we get like Riddler vibes, you know, because there's a note left for Batman and stuff like that. And then we get to see the reveal of the suit, which is nice. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it looks weird." No.
What did I post on Facebook?
What'd you post? Yeah, what'd you say?
I said, "Hey, you're beautiful, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise."
No, look, we'll post the picture. We'll have it here. I don't know, and maybe you can edit it in the
I can probably put it on there, but more than likely not, just because if most people listen to it on Spotify.
Oh, that's true.
Just look it up. It's honestly like...
You got a really good lighting of it, too.
Rotten Tomatoes has
Rotten
it.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes on their image has it.
And see, look, because, again, if you guys are looking at the picture, the emblem has like misshapes in it as well, too.
They're guns.
It's a gun.
Yeah.
It's the gun. So that's what's beautiful about it as well too. It's just
you get this very old school vibe with a very flexible looking suit, all in black, no two-tone like the Ben Affleck version of it. But look at the cape. The cape goes all the way down to his shoulders.
Yeah.
Most of the time you have the capes kind of protruding outside or inside the shoulders.
Yeah.
This is covering his shoulder, most of it. It's a very classic look. Like,
and it's not a long cape either.
It isn't.
It stops at his ankles a bit. It hovers over his ankles.
So, which most of them should. So when we looked at Ben Affleck's bat suit, that was probably one of the, in my opinion, sexiest looking bat suits to come out.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I still like the Ben Affleck bat suit. Like, that one's my favorite.
But I think it's the color.
It's the color, that's why. The color scheme is what gets me.
The two-tone.
Yeah, this one kind of has a two-tone, but you have to really look at it.
It's the cowl. Look at
cowl,
the cowl, dude.
Yeah.
The cowl is just simple, easy, very early Batman look.
Yeah.
Cape.
Now he does
beautiful.
Now, this Batman doesn't look big like compared to Ben Affleck's Batman, but in the trailer they showed how vicious he fights.
Do you want to get into that right
I'll
now?
get into that right now because I think that's like the one thing that people are always like
They're portraying it.
because
Okay.
because I think it needs to be said because obviously Robert Pattinson is not a big dude, but he's a tall dude, but he's not like buff.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I think they had to show that in this trailer as well too, how to compensate for that. Like, okay, he's not big, but he does fight, and he fought really well, dude. You're okay. When I saw him fight, I was like, go, go, go. I was like,
I stood quiet.
really?
I was in love.
Yeah.
Because, okay, can I like
Go
put my like 2 cents in here?
Go for it.
When I think of year 2 Batman, because I mean, for those that don't know, like you can separate Batman with like year 0, year 1, year 2, like you know, that's the kind of lingo that they use for like the comic books and stuff like that. Because I think year 1, or was it year 0 that came out recently? There was a run.
Year 0 that came out last, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the last one that came out.
So, you know, it'll tell like the early iterations of Batman. And we've seen a lot of kind of already settled in Batmans. For Batman to have a year 2 kind of storyline portrayed into this is really great. And when I think of year 2 Batman, he's set. Like he understands his role as Batman.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have his anger like controlled yet.
Yeah.
That was raw.
That was so good. And I think that also implicates what kind of Batman we're going to see is that he's going to have moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also in the trailer, we see that he's in the police station and there's some people holding them back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why we're going to have like Batman where he's established, but he's also facing something that he's never really fought in before.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be pushed to that limit.
Yeah, and I think the Riddler is a perfect choice for that.
It's going to test his like patience and whatnot. I like the line. Like, okay, so because there were 2 things that I got from that scene.
Mm-hmm.
His raw, unheld, is that the right word? Unheld or loose kind of like fighting style, where he literally in that fighting style.
Yeah,
like
it was combat, but then also it was just brutality as well too. It wasn't just like how it wasn't like how Christian Bale fought, where it was kind of like
blocking and disabling.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, like straight up. But I mean, Ben Affleck's the warehouse scene is the scene that comes to mind.
Yeah.
I think that was more incapacitate, but like unintentional killing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because that's a Batman that has lost faith in his ways.
Basically, yeah.
This Batman is like unhinged, and Robert Pattinson did such a well job in basically breaking that line where it's like, yeah, I'm going to disable you. Now that you're down, let me beat your face to the ground.
Yeah, let me just boom, boom, get a couple bit like.
I should. My girlfriend's one to not kind of like that sort of violence. She gets she laughs because she gets uncomfortable with it, and I showed her that, and she's just like, it's just like,
it's funny to see people react to that
because
that's the thing, but they're not used to that scene in Batman. But you and I, want to see that in Batman.
And I think we spoke about this in one of the earlier issues. Joker is not to be loved.
No.
His laugh is supposed to make you uncomfortable.
Oh, yes.
Batman is the same way.
With criminals, yes.
His appearance is supposed to strike fear into your eyes, into your heart. To see that, you're supposed to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be like, oh, no, this is, no, what? No. That's what you want to feel.
Yeah.
Like that Darth Vader scene in Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
That is raw Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
That is like the Darth Vader we've been wanting to see. This is the Batman we've been wanting to see. This is the Batman we've been waiting for.
Oh, definitely.
The second thing that I got from that fight scene, the voice.
Oh, yes. I am vengeance.
Oh,
it's very, okay. I got so many vibes from that line alone. I was like, wait, did they just like took a snip from Kevin Conroy or what? It sounded almost like that. Oh. I was like, dude,
okay,
he got the voice down.
So I my girlfriend picked me up from work after the DC FanDome event.
Oh, so this was after you saw the trailer. I called my girlfriend.
We had a conversation. I didn't even care about work at that point. I was just like, oh my God.
Right? Wasn't it just like after you saw the trailer? Sorry.
That's all I can think about.
Yeah, just like that whole night. I'm
sweating. Just thinking, oh my God.
That whole night, it was like basically like after you, like, it was like basically after losing your virginity.
Yeah.
It was like the only thing that like made sense to you was just to talk about what just happened.
Hang on. Let me look at the Facebook post because I'm going to discuss the voice in just a bit.
Yeah.
But the Facebook post that I
that you posted?
I post a lot on Facebook. I know I advertise my Twitter, but my Facebook's mostly for like friends and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I had to because I saw it here.
So, there you go.
Yeah. So I said, Jeffrey Red as Jim Gordon is something I never knew I wanted. My God. The red and black photos of the Batsuit didn't do it justice.
Yeah.
What a sin for Reeves to hold back such beauty. The atmosphere of this Batman movie is nothing short of jaw-dropping anticipation. And then
regarding the voice, Pattinson's Batman voice is exactly what I expected of a year two Bats. He's young and still learning the ropes, but confident and aggressive. Here's the thing. I fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something I haven't felt with a Batman in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I remember watching Kevin Conroy's version of Batman when I was a kid and just admiring and loving and just understanding that this was the definite voice of Batman.
Yeah.
Pattinson has cemented himself there.
Definitely.
When I think of, the voices of Batman, and this is something that I was talking to my girlfriend on the way back home, there's a tier list of Batmans, at least in my opinion, that I feel, deserve 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I think of Batman, Kevin Conroy takes the number one spot, miles and miles and miles and miles, light years away from everyone else. Kevin Conroy is forever my Batman.
Yeah.
Then Ben Affleck.
Yes.
I think Ben Affleck did a confident.
I think, he did a great Batman to the point where it was like you wanted to see the comic booky Batman.
Yes.
And he did a great job doing that.
There was a difference between his Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And there was a difference between a Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very hard to get because most people, I might be, maybe some people might disagree with me, but I split Bruce Wayne and the scene's coming up and I'm not, no, because we're going to get distracted.
I know. I'm watching it. I'm like,
there's a difference between the Bruce Wayne and the Batman.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is his image outside in
that's
the
his
public.
mask.
That is his mask.
Yeah.
And Batman is his identity, his real identity.
Yeah.
And to have the two voices split is unique. And Ben Affleck got that. And that's something that Kevin Conroy almost didn't have at some point.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, Kevin Conroy's voice for Bruce Wayne and for Batman wasn't in his tone, but it was in his language.
Yeah, because you could tell that the way that Batman talks, it's like kind of like stern.
Yes.
But also very proper.
Yes.
And then when he's out and about as Bruce Wayne, it's more relaxed. It's more kind of just like, well, but it's also to the point where it also sounds fake that the way Bruce Wayne's talking. And and then you're like, wow, you could tell that he's more comfortable being Batman than being Bruce Wayne.
So here's where I'm going to get some controversy. Okay.
Ooh,
Kevin Conroy, light years away as Batman. Batman,
yeah.
Bruce Wayne. Ben Affleck, because he solidified the difference between a Bruce Wayne and a Batman.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, and I know it's only one line, and we have not seen a voice of Bruce Wayne.
But you feel this confident.
I am this confident that he takes third spot.
Oh.
Because this man, that line, I am vengeance, that tone and that holding back, you can tell that he's still learning how to be Batman, but there's that confident, aggressive nature of him where he's like, you mess with me, I will break every bone in your body. Yeah. I want to see his Bruce Wayne voice, and hopefully it is as fantastic as that.
I hope his Bruce Wayne is very good because,
it needs to be a hurtful Bruce Wayne.
And it looks like it too.
Yeah.
It looks like he's very broken.
A scarred, broken Bruce Wayne. So
I'm wondering to see how he's handling this and stuff like that. I actually forgot about this. We should mention it right now. Andy Serkis is playing Alfred.
Why does that sound familiar?
That's the guy from Lord of the Rings. Gollum.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
but there was
actually,
no.
He was doing the voice. He was talking over actually.
I need to re-listen to that.
Yeah, because it's Andy Serkis. I was like, wait, why does that sound familiar? And I forgot again. They casted him as Alfred, and then also Colin Farrell is cast as Oswald Cobblepot. Penguin, but he's not Penguin yet. Matt Reeves has said this is just Oswald
his origin
Cobblepot.
story, because what's his name is playing Catwoman.
Zoe Kravitz. Yeah,
so it's her beginnings of
it's
Catwoman
early.
as well.
This is like if anything year one Catwoman.
So we're getting our origins here. Pretty much all these characters, which is fantastic. Penguin looks like Penguin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you see the big guy with the big face. Apparently that's Colin Farrell in prosthetics. And I was like, dude, he looks unrecognizable.
It's looking to be a very fantastic looking Batman.
And then what's his name is Dan Mora as Riddler. You look it up really quick. You'll see he was in Prisoners. The Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. Also in No Country for Old Men. Paul Dano. Yeah, he is the Riddler. And he is actually really he was doing the voiceover in the beginning, he is Falcone as well too. John Turrier, he's playing Falcone. There's a lot of actors that are really well known they're going to be part of this movie.
I'm in the state of mind where I just don't know what to expect from it. I know what I am expecting from it, but I'm also just really, really, really excited. List your top 3 what Batman voices.
Mine?
Yeah, because it's not fair. I gave mine.
Well, I mean, like, I think it's obvious. It's, Kevin Conroy for me, number 1.
Obviously.
I actually did like, I kind of like Michael Keaton's voice.
Okay.
Michael Keaton's voice as Batman, because it was pretty good. He did a great job of kind of like doing it kind of raspy, but then not to the point where it's like Christian Bale.
Okay.
Like
okay.
that.
Okay. Hang on. You mentioned Christian Bale,
Yeah.
which I'm going to address in a bit. But who's your third?
Third, man. I might. You know what? I'm gonna hop in the same boat with you because we're going together. Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in that boat with you, man.
So to address the whole Christian Bale thing, it's kind of funny because I like hearing a lot of people saying, "But Christian Bale's Batman was good." It was decent, but like
the voice though.
This is what I told my girlfriend. I said Christian Bale doesn't even have a podium, and he gets beaten by Will Arnett, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Will Arnett's Batman.
Will Arnett's Batman's voice was actually pretty good.
It's great because this is his natural voice.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Batman.
He doesn't need to try.
Yeah, he doesn't need to try. He's just like, yeah, totally.
He's a comedic Batman.
Yeah.
Is it fair? Probably not, but
No.
I enjoyed his voice more than I did Christian Bale's Bruce and Bats.
The thing is that, okay, I get it in the whole Dark Knight Batman, where it's like, okay, he needs to change his voice because, obviously everyone knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you didn't have to be like, oh, that's what that feels like. Like
he didn't need to try.
He didn't need to try hard. I mean, at least in the Ben Affleck one, they made it sense that he has a voice distorter.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
There was a reason for it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we need to discuss?
I mean, the thing is not because we got a teaser, so it's like we can't speculate too much. Then just talk about our initial reactions and stuff like that.
I think this is about it then.
Yeah.
I feel like we're exhausted talking about this.
Well,
we just talked about the Batman movie.
No, but the thing is that, okay, so like the Batman movie, there's so much that we can speculate and so much we could talk about. But the thing is that just like, I don't know. I think right now it's just, we could just talk about our initial thoughts, and obviously we're excited for it. I mean,
it's going to be a beautiful thing
and
to see.
Again, this is only 25% of the film that they showed us.
Only time will tell how, and we keep saying this, only time will tell, but like only time will tell how much faith, if the faith that we have on Matt Reeves is going to showcase itself here. I have full 100% confidence that Matt Reeves understands what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that there is something wrong will happen with this Batman movie. I will cry multiple times with this version of it. I hope to God that that's what happens.
Yeah.
You have any closing thoughts?
That I'm super excited for this Batman movie. I have complete faith in Matt Reeves. This whole DC FanDome event was amazing. It made me excited to what's to come in the future. And it's right now, this week is great to be a DC fan.
It's great to be a nerd.
It's great to be a nerd.
That's the main point that I got from this whole thing. All right, guys. So before Rene does the outro, because it's your turn, buddy.
Oh man.
Just thank you guys. I know this is a way longer episode than what most of you guys are used to, but there was a lot to cover, and we thank you guys if you guys stuck it out through this whole thing.
Thank you.
If you guys are listening to this on YouTube, I'm going to do my whole spiel. If you guys are listening to this on YouTube, jump on over to our Spotify and Podbean link and click follow on those. We will be posting the podcasts, every other issue on those platforms as well. If you're on Spotify or Podbean, hop on over to the YouTube channel and hit subscribe on there and that notification button. We're at 21 subscribers. We want to keep this going. We've been getting some good traction. We appreciate you guys for following and just any feedback at all. If you guys have anything you guys want to add to it, there's always our socials, which are going to be in the descriptions as well. Hit us up there. We have, we respond to them pretty quickly. Renee's been doing a fantastic job doing with the advertisements and stuff like that. So don't forget to follow those as well. With that said, we thank you guys once again for listening to this episode of Keeping Up with the Nerds. Renee, take it out, my friend.
All right.
It is different.
Yes.
So
I see it.
Let's do this. Let's do a one take on it.
Let's do
okay?
one.
All right. Hit it.
Thank you, citizens, for listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour. This is Rene
and Bryan.
coming to you from the Fortress of Geekitude. With next week back to recording at Undercity Comics, thank you, citizens, once again, and we hope to see you next time.